Please welcome Delegate Teehee.
OCO, everyone. Today I stand before you with great pride as we commence the 2023 swearing-in ceremony for the Cherokee Nation Principal Chief, Deputy Principal Chief, and the Council of the Cherokee Nation. I am honored to welcome each of you to this historic occasion. We gather here today for a truly special Inauguration Day within the Cherokee Nation. It's a day of celebration, a day that holds profound significance as we transition from Election Day to Inauguration Day.
Please welcome Speaker of the Council, Mike Shambaugh.
But one thing that we need to remember, nothing ever happens without communication and working together. And that's the one thing about the Tribal Council and the executive branch we have done very well. We do work together. And to you newly elected Tribal Council members, I want to say this to you. Number one, always be a defender of the Cherokee Nation Constitution. Always be a defender of our sovereignty. Always treat your fellow councilmen with respect, even though we're going to disagree. It happens. And never forget this last thing. Whenever you're fixing to vote on something, whether it's a resolution, an act, or a new program, whatever it is, remember those words that came out of our great leader's mouth and ask yourself, frankly, is this the right thing to do?
Please welcome to the stage Mr. Travis Warner.
I always looked up to my brother. Just like little brothers will, I was wanting to be like him, wanting to do the things that he was doing, wanting to just be around him at all times. Whether it was when he was in sports, training horses, growing up, going to college, I always looked up to him. There's a profound moment when I realized how much I love my brother. When I was little, I think it was a baseball game, and he was playing left field, and I was probably 4 or 5, not a little younger than Clayton. And as we were watching, fly ball came to left field, and as he ran to get it, he tripped and fell. And I noticed that he didn't get up as quickly as he normally would, and when he got up, he limped back to the bench, and I learned that he had broken his arm. For some reason, this affected me really strongly at that age, and I started crying. Would not stop crying. And what you need to know is that when we loaded up to go to the hospital, my brother saw that I was upset and immediately hid how much serious pain he was in so that I wouldn't be upset. And in that moment, he was selfless, and he cared more about me being upset than his broken arm. And I think that really says a lot to who he is. Probably the proudest moment of my life was a few years later after that. We lost our father in January of 2011. And, I was at work when I got the call from my sister, Mako. And I just sat there kind of stunned and didn't say a word and just got up and left. But I think you know where I probably went. I went to my brother's. And when I got there, I found that same caring, selfless person who was being strong for everybody else. And a few days later, at our father's funeral, he did something that truly amazed me. He got up in front of the congregation and spoke about our father. And at the time, I could not fathom doing something so difficult that must have taken so much courage. And as I sat there in the church pews watching my brother, I turned back into that little kid. I wanted to be like my brother. I wanted to be the guy who's selfless and caring, who cares so deeply about others that he would do anything. The guy who maybe is a little bit ornery, but he truly has the best intentions and always operates out of the goodness of his heart. And so with that, that's my brother, your Deputy Chief of the Cherokee Nation. I'm so proud of him. I love you so much.
Today, I stand before you feeling immense gratitude and honor to be your elected Deputy Principal Chief. I am humbled every day to see the talents and hard work and compassion of my fellow Cherokees, so I'm especially grateful for this opportunity to continue working for all of you. More than ever, with the support of my family, my wife Mako, our boys Caden, Luke, and Clayton, I am committed to continuing the progress with Chief Hoskin and the men and women of this Council of the Cherokee Nation. Let's give them a round of applause. As we celebrate being Cherokee on this day, let us reinforce our commitment to defending our tribal sovereignty and self-determination. Our ancestors made great sacrifices to keep alive our Cherokee culture and our sovereignty. We owe it to them and to all generations that will follow us to be just as fierce in our defense. Of course, being Cherokee is not only about defending what we have, it is also about building up a greater future. Today, I am filled with extreme optimism for the future of the Cherokee Nation. With unity, empowered by our families, our communities, and our culture, we are building a brighter tomorrow for our tribe every single day. We must foster an environment where every Cherokee feels supported and encouraged on their own journey towards wholeness, wellness, and individual growth that builds character. Building a healthier people through the accountability, perseverance, and resilience is vital to the next generation and all of us as Cherokees and tribes across the United States. At the core of our existence is the belief that we are loved by the Creator, and this love extends to every citizen in our tribe. As Cherokees, we know that our natural resources, the air, the water, the land, and the creatures that we share them with are all a vital part of our cultural identity. And as we develop agricultural offerings and work to provide food security for families, we are strengthening essential aspects of our self-determination. Our Cherokee community values, taking care of one another, being responsible for one another, respecting the gifts of one another, are a template for our success in the past, today, and in the future. Together, we can weave a blanket of shared values and traditions that will guide us through any challenge. As your Deputy Principal Chief, I will strive every day to live up to the Cherokee ideals of selflessness and harmony. And when I fall short, and I know that I will sometimes fall short, I will trust in the Creator, and I will look to our community to help guide us on the right path. Every Cherokee contributes to the well-being of our families, our tribe, and our state as a country. Our shared journey is enriched by the diverse experiences and backgrounds that we bring each to the table. As we move forward, let us continue to embrace understanding, support, and love for one another. By nurturing our Cherokee people, we will become more resilient, thriving, and powerful as we move the Cherokee Nation forward. Finally, my brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is pure, whatever is noble, whatever is admirable, whatever is lovely, let's remember these things, that if anything is excellent, anything is praiseworthy, let us think upon these things. And folks, I'll tell you and finish. In the immortal words of Pastor Sonny Cantrell, by way of his grandson, Daniel Smith, if that doesn't light your fire, then your wood's wet. Well done, people. Thanks be to God.
Please welcome Mr. Chuck Hoskin.
Family and friends of Cherokee across the reservation and around the world, what a fantastic day. Today is a great day in the Cherokee Nation, and I am truly honored to be here. 4 years ago, I was in the same room to introduce you to my son, Charles Thomas Hoskin Jr., or for Chuck Hoskin Jr. as our new Principal Chief. It's safe to say that when he was born, I had no expectation of ever introducing him as Chief of the Cherokee Nation. And now, 4 years later, I find myself here again. How did that happen? Well, it happened because of lots of hard work, perseverance, and support from many fellow Cherokee citizens, employees, and friends of the Cherokee people, many of whom are here today. And as a proud father will note, it has also taken intelligence, passion, dedication, commitment, and integrity from my son. Many of you may recall when I was up here 4 years ago and told the story of the health issues that our chief went through. And after spending 2 weeks in intensive care with a good friend and family physician, taking care of him and not telling me that he was going to be okay, the doctor said he was going to do the best he could. But at the end of 2 weeks, when my son was discharged from the hospital, again, just like I said 4 years ago, the doctor said, I don't know what the good Lord's got in store for this young man, but it must be something. And so it has been something. It is something. Please join me in welcoming my son, my chief, our Principal Chief, Chuck Hoskin Jr.
I stand before you grateful to the Cherokee people for the opportunity to serve another term in office. It's my honor to serve alongside the Deputy Chief and members of the Council. I stand before you with deep love and appreciation for my family. I would not and could not be here without them. I'm ready to continue this journey of public service alongside our First Lady, my wife January. Today we gather to celebrate not merely the inauguration of a Principal Chief, a Deputy Chief, and members of the Council, but to celebrate the renewal of our great democracy. We celebrate a basic truth which binds each of us. We are endowed by nature as a free people who have governed ourselves from time immemorial. We celebrate not merely that we can govern ourselves as a free people, but that we choose to do so. Now, at this moment, the Cherokee Nation stands as one of the world's oldest democracies. Across 3 centuries of our democracy and our resolve as a free people, well, they've been tested, and at times they've been suppressed. Now, through it all, I proudly say this as your Principal Chief: the Cherokee Nation has bent, but it has never broken. In relative terms, we are an old democracy, but Cherokee Nation is a young nation in the best sense of that phrase. We are a young nation that has endured so much, but we are restless to prove that our tragedies pale in comparison to our triumphs. We are a young nation eager to face down any and all challenges and yearning to prove that there is no obstacle we cannot overcome. We are a young nation not driven by the idea of every man for himself, but driven by the idea that we owe each other something, that we rise and fall together, and that we leave no one behind. This old democracy, closing out the first quarter of the 21st century, feels so young. It feels like a nation with so much potential, so much greatness within our people, so much ambition, and so much to prove. We can look back at least 5 centuries since the so-called Age of Discovery and conclude that this present century holds more promise for the Cherokee people than all the rest. Now, thanks to our ancestors and thanks to the efforts of the Cherokee people, particularly within the last 50 years, we are poised to end the first quarter of the 21st century more secure in the blessings of liberty, more secure in our collective prosperity, and more secure in our sovereignty than any time in the past 500 years. In this century, Cherokee communities will thrive. Those communities that withered on the vine the last 100 years can flourish again. We can ensure that our communities are places where elders are honored and respected, where children are safe and happy, and where the air, land, and water are clean. The failure of any of our communities, no matter their size, is a choice, and it is a collective choice. The reverse is also true. We need to choose success for all of our communities, and we need to work towards that success together. The last few centuries have seen a purposeful and effective assault on Cherokee language, culture, and lifeways. All of it at the hands of brutal federal Indian policies. We must ask ourselves, can we realize the complete restoration of our language, culture, and heritage in this century? The answer must be, yani didi daga, yes, we can. This is to be a great Cherokee century, then we know this much is true. We must all do our part to protect and defend the sovereignty of the Cherokee Nation. And so let this be a century of Cherokee sovereignty, a century of self-government, and a century in which we assert, protect, and defend every word of every single treaty with the government of the United States. And let this be a century in which we can say at long last that the United States has finally kept its promises to the Cherokee Nation. And my fellow Cherokees, let us proclaim something else so that it reverberates across this state. Let's say it loud enough and proud enough that it shakes the walls of the state capitol and the governor's mansion. I proclaimed it from this stage 4 years ago, and I say it again. The Cherokee Nation is the best friend the state of Oklahoma ever had. We just need to be treated with some respect. Let us send another message across this state and across this country. Let us send a message to those leaders who view tribal sovereignty as a threat, who view our reservation as something to be stopped, or who believe that restoring Cherokee sovereignty comes at someone else's expense. To those leaders, I say this: let this be the century in which your old, tired, and backward ways are finally cast into the dustbin of history. My fellow Cherokees, I pledge to you that for this brief time that I serve as your chief, you will get my best effort each and every day. You will have my unyielding loyalty and devotion. I will do my part. And so let us feel the urgency of the task before us. Let us move boldly and let us move wisely further into this great Cherokee century. Let us build a great Cherokee society using those qualities that make Cherokees so great, and by leaning on those qualities which make Cherokees so good. Thank you all.